Good afternoon, everybody. Today is February 18th, 2015, and welcome to our live market analysis for the Euro USD. I'm the Chief Technical Analyst here at HyperFX Academy, and I'll be walking you through some of the trade setups that occurred during the US session for the Euro USD. Now, as in our previous videos, we'll be using just a basic zigzag indicator and drawing two types of trend lines, either horizontal or angled, at the support levels and the resistance levels, and what determines whether we use an angled trend line versus a horizontal. I'll be talking a bit more about that today. You notice on your screen here, when a blue dot is higher than the previous blue dot, we can use an angled trend line. So let me draw that out for you. You can use an angled trend line, okay? So that'll indicate the perfect point where once the price action breaks that, you would get a sell signal. Now, in this case, you notice that the blue dot is higher than the previous blue dot, but what do you do when the blue dot is lower than the previous blue dot, which is in this situation here? Instead of using an angled trend line, because if you use an angled trend line, you notice that the price action never actually breaks that level. What you want to do is when you have a lower low, is simply use a horizontal trend line. Okay, and when the price action breaks that, you have a sell signal. So when you have a lower low, you want to use a horizontal trend line, and when you have a lower high, a higher low, so a second blue dot at the support level which is higher than the previous, then you can use your angled. And on the flip side, on the resistance levels, so you notice that this red dot is lower than the previous red dot. Again, we want to draw a horizontal trend line. Okay, and then you notice that the price action broke here, so that would signal a buy entry. And when we have a red dot which is higher than the previous red dot, or in this case right here, you would draw a horizontal. Okay, so there was no break in this, but when you have a higher high, you want to draw a horizontal trend line. So let's get into some of the actual trade setups that occurred today. Our first entry would have been right here. This occurred late yesterday evening in the Asian session, so many of you did not have the opportunity to take this trade, but it was a nice signal. And another entry that occurred during the US session today would have been this beautiful down break here. So this entry right here, and that went for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 pips. So that was a great entry, and again, could be a $300 or a $3,000 or a $30,000 trade depending on your account size, but the point is that the effort required is the same and the signals generated are just as powerful. So those are the two first sell entries, and then we had another sell entry actually right here. Sorry, let me get that out of your way. Here. So you notice that the price action, or the Renko chart, the Renko bar broke this trend line at this location. That signals our third entry for the day. And the market actually kind of slowed down after that, but you would have received another sell entry at this point here. And this all occurred just recently in the afternoon, so we prefer trading the morning session because you get these large movements, and then later on in the afternoon it starts to slow down, and you can still capture a few pips here and there. But the majority of the movement has already taken place, so the opportunity to bank the most profits obviously is at the US Open, when the market first opens for the US. So that was our recap for the Euro USD. But again, I want to reiterate another point. When you do receive a signal, which we had another buy signal here, is a small one, and you got a buy signal here, okay, and then you receive the opposite sell signal, you want to make sure that you get into the opposite. So if you had got into that buy signal and then you had this horizontal break here, once you receive the opposite signal, you want to make sure you exit this original position and get into the opposite direction, because this was a fake out. So don't stay in a position and hope the market will come around. Again, I can't stress that enough. Once you're in a position and you get the opposite signal, you want to exit this position and definitely get into the right direction, because if you leave that trade open, you could suffer some larger drawdowns, which you want to avoid. So again, this was our market recap for the Euro USD during the US session today. I'll be joining you again tomorrow afternoon with another recap using our Renko chart with horizontal and angled trend lines. Till then, happy trading. you.